on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Bitcoin down slightly today, down a little bit, around 0.5% today. Now, we were looking for a big move. We actually had a little bit of a dip after yesterday's video. Now, what we were talking about was Bitcoin coming to the end of this apex where we had the previous resistance turn support. We did break to the downside. However, we didn't see a massive dump or a massive sell-off. We actually just saw like a slight sell-off and a nice little bit of accumulation curve right here. So I want to talk about this because you and I both know that the next 24 hours is absolutely critical for Bitcoin's price in the short to mid-term. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, then you didn't watch yesterday's video. Go back and watch yesterday's video. But for anyone who didn't, we're going to talk about why that is extremely critical. I also want to go into the fact that, of course, Bitcoin is now pumping. The mainstream media is talking about it. We have Brian Kelly over on CNBC saying why he chooses Bitcoin over gold and silver. We also have Fidelity Digital Assets coming out with their thesis report, essentially saying that they have 4 reasons why Bitcoin is an amazing store of value. And we do have big news from the PlusToken scam. They did, in fact, get those guys. They are in jail. They are receiving their justice due. And that is big news for potential selling pressure on the overall cryptocurrency space. So that is the main topic of today. All of that, if it sounds good to you, you know what to do. And we do have a few quick announcements before we get to the TA. Definitely stick around for that. We're going to go into a lot of big news. Oh, and the fact that we have the Fed also injecting another $5 billion worth of liquidity. Kind of tied in with the intro of today's video, right? So first thing I want to talk about is happy birthday, Ethereum. 5 years ago today, Vitalik Buterin did, in fact, release the Ethereum white paper. And yeah, congratulations, 5 years strong, Ethereum. Also, newer guy on the space, today is the launch of the mainnet for Elrond. So this is definitely big. We're going to have to keep our eyes. Is it going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Well, we'll know by the end of the day, but I'm definitely feeling extremely confident in Elrond moving forward. And finally, I do want to talk about the Bybit competition. This is the World Series of Trading that is coming up, okay? So if you guys want that $50 bonus, you have to enter by today. If you wait till tomorrow, well, that'll be too late. So definitely get registered if you're interested in trading. Not recommended for beginners. By the way, guys, I do have links below in the description, and I also have a tutorial if you're interested, but there's lots of bonuses, $50 for signing up, $10 for each person, $90 in the rewards hub. You have $50 check-in and time bonuses. They're giving a $1,000 bonus away to anybody who basically gets a lot of signups, $350 in the best trader for P&L, biggest profits made. Oh, and the best news is you're getting a 10 to 20% trading fee discount. So that's pretty impressive. Check that out. Links below. You do have to join a team. I do not have a team. I have a recommended team. You can check that out below, but you guys do your own research on that. And one more thing, I know we're going to get to the video in just a second, but tomorrow I am going to be on the live stream for the Digitex Futures Exchange launch. I will be going on at 12 noon Eastern time. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely hop over there. They do have that available. Now, let's finally dive into the Bitcoin price. So what do we have going on right here? Well, there's 2 ways we could look at this. You could initially look at this as a short-term Adam and Eve pattern. However, we kind of have broken to the downside, so that's sort of invalidated, right? However, what is more likely is the fact that we are forming a bit of a double bottom pattern, right? Retesting the dip and having something that might look more like this, where we have this as one giant move, and then we have another giant move down here, putting in a type of double bottom before having the big Bitcoin move. Now, one thing I want to point out is we were held down by a key resistance. We are above 2 of some of the most critical support levels Bitcoin has ever had. One being the main resistance, the 2.5-year resistance, this top purple line, and this bottom one right here being the support. However, we do have this sort of resistance that Bitcoin has hit 3 times in the past, not including when we had this blast off top. So we are being held down by that resistance again. So that level does sit around the $11,000 level, which we have sort of been kind of dancing around. Now, talking about the, the meme of the Bitcoin futures gap. Look, guys, I'm not saying gaps have to get filled. I'm not like saying that's going to happen, but it has happened like 99% of the time. So if that was to happen, we would have to go all the way down to $9,735, and that would be about a 14% retracement from where we are right now. Do I think that that's going to happen? I think there is a high possibility. I don't think it has to happen. However, I think that if it does happen, we will stay down there for an extremely brief period of time, whereas Bitcoin might do something like this and then have an instant bounce, okay? I do not see us staying down in those levels. It would completely invalidate the structure, but I do think that there is a possibility of having Bitcoin coming down here into this blue zone territory between about $10,362 and that $10,500 level before we have a bounce confirmation. Now, in worst case scenario, let's say we break through it, we fill the CME futures gap right here at this purple line, and we continue to fall all the way down to about the $9,500 level. Well, I still am not bullish, because even if Bitcoin was to come down and fall all the way down to that level, we are still putting in a macro higher low, okay? So we had this low down here, and that would put in a low up here, which would still show us that we're increasing. And remember, the trend is your friend until the end. And right now, my friends, the trend is up. Now, let's talk about why the next 24 hours are extremely critical for Bitcoin. Number one being the fact that the last Friday of the month, we always see contracts expire. We see lots of volatility. Lots of times we have seen the Bitcoin price dump. So that is something to keep our eyes on. Is it going to dump this time? Not necessarily. But more important than that, we have the monthly close for Bitcoin. Now, keep in mind, the level that we need to get above right here, you can see this candle closed at $10,761, and that was on June when we had the massive rally to 14,000. So if we were to close above 10,761, or technically if we look at the BLX chart, it's closer to 10,748, but give or take $20. So let's just say 10,750. Let's just take that as an average number to go with. That would be the level we have to close above. If we can close above that level, that would mean that this month of July 2020 would be the second highest monthly close on a candle for Bitcoin in its entire history. And if that's not bullish, then I don't know what is. In fact, that would not only be closing above here, but it would be closing above every single candle, essentially, like I said, that we've had since the all-time high. And that would be literally a higher high on the macro chart, which is textbook bullish. Bullish as hell, my friends. Extremely bullish for Bitcoin if that was to happen. So we need to make sure that Bitcoin within the next 24 hours closes above $10,748. If we don't do that, we might have to reevaluate the chart again, my friends. But man, it has been 2.5 years since the top. I think it's about time for the rally. The bottom structure would still be intact. We would still have an uptrend, like this, but it kind of would be nice to get that confirmation. So let's talk about the fact, though, that from a fundamental perspective, pointed out by Bitcoin Jack, or actually he's going by Ethereum Jack now, you could see that we have had vertical accumulation, massive accumulation, which means that bigger parties, whales, maybe even the institutions, who knows, have been accumulating Bitcoin from the bottom all the way up to the top. And in yesterday's video, I showed you that we are not seeing an inflow of money into exchanges, which means that long term, these guys are hodling for the long run. Now, I do want to show you this clip really super quick from CNBC's Fast Money. So they basically said, which one would you pick? Gold, silver, or Bitcoin? And they asked Brian Kelly, and this is what he had to say.
Gold or silver or Bitcoin?
Well, for me, it's going to be Bitcoin. You might say, well, BK, you're biased because you run a crypto fund, but that's not it. I also trade macro, which means I have a whole bunch of different things that I can invest in: currency, stocks, bonds, precious metals. And when I look at precious metals versus Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a better fundamentals, and when fundamentals, I'm talking about the stock to flow ratio. It's better than gold at this point because we had the halvening. And when I look at the Bitcoin cycles, the bull markets tend to cluster around the halvenings. And so we're tracking right along like the 2016 halvening cycle. And that would imply that sometime in Q2 2021, you're looking at a Bitcoin price of 50,000. So that's kind of the long-term target. And then in the shorter term, 10,500 was a really big number. We're breaking out of a 2-year range. It would not surprise me. This is just pure trading 101. Once you break out of a range, goes to prior highs, that's 20,000. To me, I think, that's 3 to 6 months down the road. So Bitcoin looks like it go 2 to 5 times higher. Whereas is gold going to go to 4,000? Is it going to go to 10,000?
Can we back up for just a second? You're saying 20,000 in 3 to 6 months and 50,000 but in 2021. And we've heard these sorts of sky high forecasts in the past, 50,000, 100,000, whatever. It's like, and they never came to fruition. Why this time? I mean, people are skeptical.
I'm not sure that they haven't come to people may be skeptical, but let's remember in March, Bitcoin was $3,500. So it's already tripled. All right. So, and a lot of those projections were, okay, this is going to be 3-4 years out. A lot of people at $1,000 and $2,000 in Bitcoin in 2017 didn't think it could go to 20,000. What we know about Bitcoin is that it's extremely volatile. It's highly speculative. And when it goes on these speculative runs, it goes a lot further than people expect. So, I don't think saying 20,000 is that outrageous when it's already been there. You might question me on the 50,000, but that's a year from now.
Uh-oh, CNBC getting bullish on Bitcoin. Is it time to sell? Well, all kidding aside, they have in the past been on the wrong side of the trade, right? But we do have Fidelity Digital Assets. Now, they said introducing the first report in our Bitcoin investment thesis series highlighting Bitcoin as an inspirational store of value. So they have it right here. If you guys are interested, you can check it out. It's 19 pages right here. I'll drop the link below in the description if you're interested. But let's talk about Fidelity, right? So they have 2.46 trillion US dollars in assets under management. Now, of course, Fidelity Digital Assets is, a smaller division of Fidelity, but nevertheless, think about all their current clientele that will have access to all of these potential products and information. So having a look over here, obviously I'm not going to go through this entire report, but we did have Decrypt doing a nice breakdown of it. So they basically say one reason, now they gave 4 reasons. So one reason why Bitcoin might become a store of value is its unforgeable digital scarcity. Obviously, we know there's 21 million Bitcoin. They say scarcity is the key characteristic cited in reference to a good store of value, as it is essential for protecting against the depreciation of real value in the long run. They also talked about a second supporting factor being that today's record low interest rates in traditional finance, as well as unprecedented levels of global monetary stimulus, we're just going to print the hell out of more money, right? Could have unknown consequences and currently adding fuel to the fire of awareness of adoption and Bitcoin. They talk about 2 longer-term drivers, including slow and steady inflation and, of course, the greatest wealth transfer of all time to the millennial demographics that does have a favorable opinion on digital assets. So in summary, Fidelity Digital Assets acknowledge that while Bitcoin's success as a store of value is not guaranteed, the cryptocurrency has all that it needs. Now, let's talk about a little bit on the situation of what's happening right now with another $5 billion of freshly created money that has been injected into the markets. Now, I know what you're saying, only $5 billion. We've seen trillions in the past. Well, interesting that you say that because Maddie Greenspan actually commented on this and he told clients in a note on Tuesday, referencing, the Fed's money printer go burr. He says that lately it's been going yawn with a bunch of W's and N's. Basically, he said the Fed is doing its best to speak softly, literally, so as not to wake up the markets. The more boring, the better. However, beneath the surface, all is not well, and a recent jump in prices for Bitcoin might be one of the best indicators of that. since a growing numbers of investors have seen cryptocurrency as a decent hedge against everything from hyperinflation to economic Armageddon. We have seen gold pumping, we have seen Bitcoin pumping, and we have also seen the US dollar and treasury bonds yields likely to feel the impact of these easing policies. Already trading to their respective record lows, their bearish outlook has pushed investors into things like Bitcoin and gold and even silver doing quite well, right? So to quote actually a trader, he says there's a lot of blood in the waters of the old system and the Bitcoin bulls can sense it. Central bankers have no option but to continue printing bigger and bigger amounts until their paper is severely debased, resulting in cataclysmic meltdowns of the US dollar and Japanese yen. Now, let's talk about a victory for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The PlusToken scammers have finally received their justice. 27 individuals have been arrested. They were considered the core members of the fraudulent scheme. Now, PlusToken was a pyramid scheme. They offered returns, or they promised returns, between 9 and 10% per month. It was basically another BitConnect and OneCoin. So the good news about this is that there's been about $3 billion in the scheme. Well, that's actually not the good news, but the good news is that now that these guys have actually been, arrested, hopefully this will end that selling pressure. Now, we did see them kind of responsible for a lot of the major sell-offs, right? These guys were accumulating Bitcoin, and they were basically dishing out this scam PlusToken. Yeah, so hopefully now this helps to resolve it. I don't know if there's any other people that are still involved that are controlling these funds, if these funds are just going to kind of just chill on the blockchain forever. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this, but hopefully this is the resolution that we've all been waiting for. Also, talking about the Bybit competition that is going on today, I do want to mention that they are doing 200 Bitcoin up for grabs, and they're looking to donate 5% of the total to charity. The sizable donation correlates with the bumper prizes that's available to traders who can outperform their peers of the duration of this month of August. There's actually 8,000 people that have already joined, and like I said, guys, if you do want that $50 bonus, today is the last day to join, so definitely check the links below in the description and in my pinned comment as well. Once again, this is not for novice traders. This is for advanced traders only. But speaking about derivatives, I know that they have been a bit of a hot topic in the space. You know, some people saying, oh, these centralized exchanges, they're scamming everybody. They're liquidating everybody. Well, guys, newly launched derivatives platform Equus.io is set to become the United States' first publicly traded crypto exchange later this year through a backdoor listing on the NASDAQ. So, like it or not, guys, these products are here to stay. I know that some people do not like trading on leverage or futures platforms, and listen, they're very dangerous. You can lose all your money, but you can also make a ton of money if you know what you're doing and you're being safe and you're using low leverage and you have stop losses. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, it's here to stay. These are the types of things that are only going to legitimize the space. So we do have this coming to NASDAQ in Q3. And I think, personally, this is big news for Bitcoin. So that being said, guys, we do have to keep our eyes on these levels. Like I said, I am looking for that close above that $10,748 level. If we can close above that and not have that pullback in the next 24 hours, we'll then let the bulls release, set off the fireworks, and strap in for the ride of your life, guys, because we're going straight to the moon. But hey, we got 24 hours. Let's see what happens, right? So that's it for me today, guys. Be sure tomorrow to tune into the live stream on Digitex Futures over at their YouTube. I will be on at 12 noon Eastern time. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Hope you've been enjoying this recent ride. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.